Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mr. Hicks Podcast. We are here getting it in once again, time and time again. We are back because people are out here being stupid. And as long as there are people in sports being stupid, I will be there to call it out. This is a particularly stupid day. I mean, for hearing what I'm hearing about your boy, we got to come up with a nickname for Kevin Durant. And then, the soft, yeah, he's a soft little mama's boy, but at this point, I feel like soft mama's boy just doesn't seem to cut it. Like, who's like the world's greatest mama's boy? Somebody who just always in their feelings and can't seem to live in reality with the rest of us because he lives in his own little world where he's better than LeBron and all the decisions that he makes are good and none of this is really his fault. The fact that nothing's going the way that he thought it would. There should be a name for that. I mean, at this point, we might as well just start calling it Durant is pulling a Durant. Yeah, I like that. As a matter of fact, I like that. Yo, Bobby, write that down. So Durant is just pulling a Durant right now. So apparently Kevin Durant had met with Nets ownership and said that, reiterated the fact that he wants out. And not only does he want out, he said, like, even if I stay, I want Sean Marks and who's general manager and head coach Steve Nash fired. And so my answer, if I was the president of the owner of the Nets, would be nope. Nah. Nope is nope. Nah. Kick rocks. You can go jump in a lake and kick rocks along the way. Something akin to not just no, but hell no. We gave you everything you asked for. We brought in a sketchy, sometimey, always something going on, Kyrie Irving. We brought in a big old cheeseburger eating, never a strip club going, never seems to be in shape, illegal step back three, flopping, lives at the free throw line, James Harden, beard, I guess. And we brought those guys in, and you approved on Steve Nash. We go to your people before we do anything in order to make you happy. We brought all those people in here to make you happy, and now you're not happy. I think you the problem, dog. You wasn't happy in Golden State winning championships, and now you're not happy in Brooklyn not winning championships. Maybe the problem is you. I know this is hard to believe for, soft, behind, whiny athlete who thinks that it's always somebody else's fault. But if you can't be happy in Golden State winning championships with a bunch of great professionals, and then you want to go someplace else and be the man on your own team to try to to have a championship on your own. And that team that you just left, by the way, it's like they won a championship before you got there, and then you got in your feelings because Draymond called you a simp, the simp that you are, and said that we won without you. Go ahead and leave. We don't need you. And then, by the way, last year, they won a championship without you while you got swept out in the first round. To leave so that you could prove that you didn't need to do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. This is your problem. These people that's around you, these players that you're with, that coach that you brought, that's just all you. This is what you wanted. And you got 4 years left on your deal talking about you want to go somewhere. It ain't going nowhere. Ain't letting you out of nothing. Go sit down. Matter of fact, we'll give you the John Wall treatment and you can just sit out all year. Sit out. I don't care. I don't think you got the guts. You 34 years old. You ain't got so many peak years left, great years left in you as a basketball player. You're not going to sit out to make a point. You're not going to do it. You ain't got it in you. Tell Kevin that I said he ain't got it in him to sit out. You're going to tuck your tail between your legs like a simp, and you're going to go right back to the Nets with them players that you said you wanted. Now, mind you, James Harden, lucky for James Harden, he got out of this mess. But now you get to go play with Sugar Booty and try to make that work. At least he's not going to take shots from you because, he's afraid to shoot the basketball. So all these players, this is what you asked for. And, for you to be like, I want these players gone, I want these people gone, these are all the people that did what you wanted. Sean brought on the players that you asked for. So for you to be like, either trade me or get rid of these people, you're just an unhappy dude who won't take any responsibility for anything that is your fault. So when you look over there and you see that somebody other team got problems, you're like, you know what? If you're on the park and you see some other kids acting crazy, and like you see another, same like when you look at another team, like, oh, that's crazy. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Like when I see other kids acting crazy, screaming at their parents, or whatever, like, looking like, not my circus, not my monkeys. And I go to Kyrie, like, Kyrie, not my circus, not my monkeys. No, Kevin, your circus, your monkeys, you deal with it. You're supposed to be a leader. By the way, he's never has shown any kind of leadership skills whatsoever. He's a great basketball player. And there's nothing wrong with being a great basketball player, but you're not a leader. You're not a GM. You're not LeBron. So LeBron can go around and win championships everywhere he goes. You can go join a championship team already made, and you can go win more championships with them. That's what you can do. That's what you can do. That's what you've proven you can do. And you have proven nothing else in this league that you can score, but you can't win championships without somebody else. Without a ready-made team, you can't win championships. That's what you prove. Yo circus, no monkeys. So for him and LeBron are kind of in the same boat right now. They both got the players they wanted, the team that they got to just got rid of all the young players, got rid of a bunch of draft picks to pack this with the players that you wanted and the coaches you approved, and was like, we're not winning. What are we gonna do? What you mean? What we gonna do? We ain't gonna do nothing. What you gonna do is you're gonna show up and you're gonna play basketball. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna be a professional and show up and deal with the mess that you made. You don't get to ask for these players and these coaches and then act like you don't know what's going on when y'all start losing. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like a dude. Say like you're a dude, you marry a hot girl. You marry a hot girl. She got a couple kids. Their dad's not around, and you're like, you know what? They seem like pretty good kids. They were pretty good kids when you were dating. So you're like, yeah, you know what? I will adopt those kids. So you adopt those kids, and now things ain't working out with moms. But now you got to pay child support for those kids. They're not wasn't your kids. You didn't make that problem. But, Judge says them your kids, though. Paper, you signed paperwork. Judge says them your kids. So Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons, and Steve Nash, and them your kids, dog. Them your kids. They ain't going nowhere. And you ain't going nowhere either. So Nick Saban is the GOAT. He's one of the greatest football coaches of all time, especially now that you can see that Big Belichick and the Patriots are falling apart without Tom Brady. So that whole argument about who's the greatest coach of all time is kind of going out the window when you see that. It was like, oh, you don't have Tom Brady to take these three receivers from Murray State and the offensive lineman from Alabama A&T and win a world title with him? No, it was Tom. It was Tom. Let me go ahead and say that out loud with my chest about that. So Nick Saban does an interview recently, and he mentions the fact that, Alabama we were really rebuilding last year. And the Twitterverse, the social sphere, whatever you want to call it, just kind of lost their collective and ever-loving minds at this. They were like, oh my God, how can you say that? You won the SEC. You went to the national title game. How can you say that was a rebuilding year? Well, let's look at that for a second. I want to give you a list here. These are all the players that Alabama lost in the 2021 draft, year before last, okay? In that year, drafted into the NFL with 10 players off of that team. Jalen Waddle, Patrick Surtain, Devontae Smith, Mac Jones, Alex Leatherwood, Najee Harris, Landon Dickerson, Christian Barmore, Deontay Brown, Thomas Fletcher. All those players were drafted into the NFL draft the year before. 6 of them started. So guys that were not only so good, Devontae Smith won the Heisman. Jalen Waddle is just ridiculously fast and is already a starting wide receiver. Patrick Surtain is a starting receiver for the Broncos. Mac Jones is a starting quarterback for the Patriots. He lost that. He lost all of that. So, of course, if you lose all of that and you have to replace all of that the next year, why would that not be considered to be a rebuilding year? Okay, also, coming off of that team, as what tends to happen when you are a good program, you're not just a good program, but a dynasty, people want a piece of your program. So when they get a chance to get one of your coaches to lead their team, their program thing, they're going to want to do that. So his offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkisian, gets the Texas job. His running back coach, Charles Huff, awesome coach, by the way. Awesome. I don't know how good of a head coach he is just yet because he just got the job at Marshall, but probably one of the greatest running back coaches of all time. He coached Najee Harris, he coached Saquon Barkley, he coached and a stable of other running backs at Alabama. So, what do you think coaches do when they get a head coaching job from a place like Alabama? You think they're going to go do a national coaching search? Like, hey, anybody want to come coach with me? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? No, Jack Hole. They're going to go back to Alabama with the people they've been coaching with the last 4 years. And I'm going to say to the wide receivers coach, would you like to be my offensive coordinator? I'm going to go to the linebackers coach and say, would you like to be my defensive coordinator? I'm going to go to the grad assistant that's doing nothing and go, you want to come be the running back coach? And then I'm going to completely strip all the coaching talent and all the coaching ability out of Alabama. Between those two guys, they both got head coaching jobs. And nobody gets a job in coaching to stay where they are. So it's like people want to move up. They want to get opportunities to go coach someplace else. So Nick Saban had to replace 10 players that got drafted into the NFL draft, 6 of which were good enough to start in the NFL as rookies. And then you lost your offensive coordinator, you lost a great running back coach, both of them that were considered to be head coaching material, and they took a bunch of your coaches with them. Yes, that's rebuilding. That's rebuilding. And the fact that with all of that gone and all of those coaches gone, the fact that they were able to go and win the SEC championship game and then play Georgia again in the national championship game, and in my opinion, without some injuries that happened in that championship game, and before there was a lot of injuries on that team, a really young offensive line. I mean, just the receivers getting injured. The secondary wasn't great. Probably the worst secondary that I remember them having. Probably the worst front line, the defensive front I've seen Alabama have in a long time. If that team made it to the national championship game, what do you think is going to happen this year? Like, is it Bryce Young, redshirt freshman, as a quarterback, and he's a Heisman candidate. I'm sorry, he won the Heisman as a redshirt freshman. But, I mean, that's great that he did that, but you probably don't expect that coming in. He's a redshirt freshman. Was he great? Yeah, but you don't expect that in the first year. So, yeah, it was a rebuild for Alabama. See, that's what excellence does. Excellence raises the floor. Everybody else is up here trying to raise the ceiling, trying to get up here, trying to touch the ceiling, right? And they're jumping up trying to touch the ceiling, jumping up trying to touch the ceiling. That's what they do. Alabama's trying to raise the floor. See the difference? While you're up there trying to touch the ceiling, you go up and down and up and down. You get really high, but then you drop really far down. Alabama's trying to raise the floor. So that, yeah, I have to jump up a little bit, but even if I don't touch it, I'm not going to fall down that far. That's the difference between real championship caliber programs and programs that just get there sometimes. And mark my words, Georgia got there sometimes. And Georgia jumped up and now they're going to fall back down. That's exactly what's going to happen. And I'm glad to be here for this. I'm glad you... Whoop. Hang it. Ooh, hello. Dang it. Technical difficulties, folks. Sorry about this. Come on. Hello. Yeah, so for those of you who are planning on doing some podcasting, this whole Yeti microphone thing, you might want to rethink it. So I'm glad that I'm here for this because this is my receipt. I want y'all to keep the receipts on this. Keep the receipts. Because Georgia ain't going to be the same Georgia. And Alabama's going to run through and win an undefeated national championship this year. Keep your receipts, because we'll be back to dance on this. You heard it here first. Take it easy.